Hello, everybody, and how are you doing here today? I am joined again by Noir, Peter, and Javion here on TableTakes. And you know what? Before we just jump in right into the news, because we got a lot to talk about today. I want to hear what you all have been up to. Javion, what have you been perusing, doing, keeping yourself busy with?
I've been so busy. I've had a lot of fun trying board games. I recently actually tried Dungeon Drop for the first time, the game where you just drop a bunch of cubes on your table and have to pick them up off the ground when you drop them on the ground. I got to play some games at Mox Boarding House, my old stomping grounds. I actually played Blood on the Clock Tower with someone you might recognize. Do you know somebody by the name of Dave, perhaps? Maybe Noir, maybe it rings a bell for you. Uh,
Yeah, yes, may sound familiar. May sound familiar.
I know,
How was
I know,
that?
I know a Dave.
yeah, he was in town, just hanging out, and I happened to come to board game night at the same time that he did. So we played Blood on the Clock Tower. It was super fun, and
Wow.
everybody yelled, and we were
Wow.
very unlucky.
That's fabulous.
It was a great coincidence. Also, I went to the state fair again, and this time I tried even more of the hottest hot sauce I could find. And it lasted like 25 minutes of just burning in my mouth. I didn't have any milk, I didn't have any water or anything like that. I was just too strong for hot sauce. I'm immune. I'm immune to spice.
Oh, spicy boy, spicy boy.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
No, that sounds like you had a great and very active weekend. GG for all of that. What about you, Peter? What have you been up to?
Oh, just what have I been up to? Playing lots of games, actually. I'm restarting an old D&D campaign that I was running before the pandemic. And then I ran it for a while on Zoom, but I just got, it just wasn't the same. So we put it in mothballs, and now I'm starting it up soon again in real life. So that's very exciting. And I also want to give a shout out. This is news, but nothing to do with tabletop gaming. But I was so excited. I'm still riding on cloud nine a little bit from Yvon Chouinard's announcement that he was giving Patagonia, the company, we're like a $3 billion company, giving it to a trust so that the profits of the company will go to fight climate change. And
Oh, nice.
it's just like so cool. I mean, I'm a big Yvon Chouinard fan since I was a kid. He was like one of the big climbers, rock climbers in Yosemite back in the day when they were still pioneering new routes. He wrote, climbing people like Royal Robbins and Chuck Pratt and all those guys. I mean, he's just an outdoor recreation mountaineering hero. And he started Black Diamond, he started Patagonia, started Chouinard, and he's always been like a champion for pioneering ecological issues. Like he was like at one point his company like dropped 70% of its revenue sources because it was from pitons, and he figured out that pitons were bad for scarring the rock. So they just quit making pitons, 70% of the revenue gone like that. And anyway, I'm just really proud of that guy. He's way to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that is awesome, especially because climate change is a real thing, and that's really happening. I don't know if you noticed, the summers have gotten more extreme, the winters have gotten more extreme, and there, it's like floods, lots of floods. I wonder why. Ozones.
Yeah. Well, asshole mountaineers, they know, they can tell you.
All right, but what about you, Noir? What have you been up to? And also, is that Kit Kats behind you? What is that? Tostitos? What's that red bag I see behind you? I'm just hungry. I'm looking. What is that?
Oh, those are Starbursts.
Ah.
Ask for what I've been up to. None of your business.
How dare.
No, I'm just kidding.
Fine.
I haven't really been doing too much. I'm gonna be in LA the first week of October, just hanging out. Other than that, I'm just kind of vibing.
That's solid. Yeah.
Oh, getting a new 3D printer. That's fun. I'm gonna be printing all the Star Wars ships, all of them.
All the things. Yeah,
That sounds
especially
cool.
It does. especially because if you get a nice 3D printer. I've been buying Star Wars 3D printed dice for my Star Wars campaign because they don't print the dice anymore and you can't buy them anywhere because they discontinue it, but they're still going to bring back Star Wars the RPG, but they haven't brought back dice. That's a whole other yeah, don't worry about that. You know what I've been up to? I got my Kickstarter copy of The Wild Sea. I don't know if anybody remembered me showing this off at Gen Con when they had this. I actually got the special edition one. Can't you see? It's gold. That's how you know it's special. And if you guys wanted to remember what I said about this RPG, it's an RPG that takes place in a world that's very like Earth, but except 200 years ago. Something happened that basically the Earth or the planet was then covered with like monstrous 100,000-foot trees, and so it's a sea of trees, and the only land you could actually see is like the tippy tops of mountains, like high mountains now is the only land that you get to be on, and it's just people going on these huge like boats that are powered by chainsaws, riding on the tops of trees, and there's all it's a really cool RPG. I highly suggest for people to check it out, especially if you want something that's pirate like, but instead of the sea you get jungles, lots of jungles.
Bonza, I'm so happy for you. I remember how excited you were when we were talking about this at Gen Con. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to do a campaign. I have way too many RPG books and not enough time to have campaigns to play them. But you know who does have enough time? The youth of our nation has enough time to, you know, really get started at a young age to play role-playing games. Javion, do you know anything about that?
It's true. Kids have nothing but time. That's why we need to get them into D&D. And Wizards of the Coast is spearheading this initiative with a D&D after-school kit and themed teaching materials. That's right. WotC's announced a D&D after-school kit with materials to help support the use of Dungeons and Dragons in educational and enrichment settings. You know, I could use some enrichment. I could use some of some teaching materials. I've got a lot to learn still. I still don't know how many pounds are in a kilogram. I feel like maybe. Is this the kind of mathematics you're learning in D&D? I don't know. The kit includes the D&D starter set, plus teaching materials aimed at students in grades 4 to 6 and 6 to 8. So not just the young ones, but also the teenagers too. The teaching materials focus on language arts and mathematics. Oh, well, great. I can think of a few more schools or classes that you could teach with just D&D. I mean, alchemy for one thing, probably driver's ed. I'm pretty sure you can fit driver's ed in there. There's plenty of different things that you could find, I'm sure. The kit includes instructions on how to organize a D&D themed club, which I was definitely desperate to do when I was a kid, but I wasn't allowed to. I was never allowed to do any of this stuff when I was a kid. I wish I could have been playing Minecraft and getting college credits and playing D&D and getting like told I was allowed to do that. That sounds awesome.
They'll be better now. They'll be better.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy for all the kids today that actually get to do this kinds of stuff. I'm just very, very jealous. The kits will be provided free of charge to after school clubs of that sort. So congratulations to the kids of Generation A and Generation Z. Well done. You did it. You lived long enough to see Dungeons and Dragons being used in classrooms. Bravo. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, no, this is pretty cool. I remember, I believe in high school, I did a after school like club, which was just like D&D, and that's how like I got introduced to it, because they're like, hey, Dungeons and Dragons, you want to join our program and everything like that. And I was like, yes, I will spend time after school to play these games. So I actually really like that we are starting to integrate hobby games as educational, because then it allows kids to just, you know, ease into it. Mm-hmm. And also keeps our fandom alive in the next, you know, teach them early, right? What do you think, Peter and Noir?
Yeah, catch them before they grow teeth. I mean, this is fabulous. Yeah, start right out of the canal. Give them some dice and go.
Yeah, I'm still just kind of laughing at how bitter JVI sounded reporting.
When I was a kid, when I wanted to play D&D, my dad told me I couldn't play. And you know why? It wasn't because he was afraid of like magic and like demon summoning or anything like you would expect from like Satanic Panic or whatever. No, he was afraid I was going to turn into a nerd. He was afraid I was going to turn into some kind of geek who doesn't know how to like function in society. Well, look at me now, Dad. Look at the t-shirt
take
I'm
that,
wearing.
Javion Stan. Look at this.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, but yeah, you could just see.
I'm not gonna top that. I think JVI took this topic. Look at me now.
I missed out on a lot when I was a kid. I'm making up for it now.
There you go. But yeah, no, that's great. And it as you can see just by our reactions alone, how this pivotal this is for everything. It's almost like, you know, this could be an easy mode for things to come, right? Noir, what do you think? What other easy modes do you think could be incorporated when people learn how to use D&D early?
I feel like you're trying to lead me into something, but I don't know where you're going.
Noir.
Noir.
Buddy.
Why are you gonna be a punk?
Noir.
A cyberpunk, even.
Cyberpunk Red's easy mode lets beginners jump into the RPG dark future for free. Thank you very much for the handoff there. I just like giving you crap.
What happened to Noir? Who killed Noir, and who are you taking his place and polymorphing into him? I mean, like,
it's still me. I'm just letting the evil out. Cyberpunk Red has a new digital quick start at getting players up to speed with the world of video game Cyberpunk 2077. Anime show Edge Runner, and the latest edition of the classic tabletop RPG Cyberpunk 2020. Cyberpunk Red's Easy Mode was originally released as a physical booklet over the summer for Free RPG Day 2022, including a stripped-down introduction to the latest edition's rules and settings of the city, of Night City specifically. The 48-page starter also includes a set of 5 pre-made characters, including Cyberpunk staples such as Rocker Boy, MedTech, and Solo, and simplified versions of Red's life path system for generating character backstories. I for one, I'm very happy to hear about this. I like games including easy modes just as a form of accessibility. The easier that you make a game to play, the more people will play the game. So I'm very excited to see that. Now I know Cyberpunk has a checkered history, the video game at least. So I'm hoping that this provides some goodwill to get people to consider hopping in on the franchise. And I'd love to see more stuff like this, especially with things that have come out for Free RPG Day becoming a staple in a games franchise. So absolutely, this is awesome.
Cyberpunk's one of those games that I would love to try, but I have to convince people to play it. It's not the kind of game that everybody already knows. So having an easy mode, I mean, at the very least, I would actually be able to learn how the rules play. And it's something a little bit easier to like jump into rather than like the big, core rule book.
Right.
I think it's a tough genre. I mean, so easy mode's probably warranted. I mean, in principle, I'm generally not in favor of easy mode on things, but
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a cop out of some sort. But Cyberpunk, it's a tricky genre. So easy mode, I'll let it pass. We'll let it pass this time. Yeah.
I think I also see a coincidence of more Cyberpunk coming up, just because I believe Netflix, if you happen to be an anime nerd, they have Cyberpunk Blade Runner going on right now. By the way, it's a really, really good series. You should watch it, especially if you like the old Ghost in the Shell kind of thing.
Wow.
And I'm a real big fan of transhumanism.
Oh yeah, Bonsai.
So,
I had no idea. I agree. That's my favorite topic in science fiction.
Yeah, no, it's also there's like a lot of I've played other than just Cyberpunk, just the genre of like your flesh means nothing, everybody must hop to brain is always just like a really cool thing, because then it's like the old like, hey, if people get too attached to their character, this is like your body doesn't matter and you still get the same character, it's just going to be in different sleeves. I
mean, we should play free market sometime.
Yeah.
I know altered carbon is another one that runs on a system very much like that, where it's just like, your body's just an outfit for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd finally be able to experience what it's like to be fit and tall.
Yeah. Free market did it before altered carbon even came out, man.
I definitely say this just gives more and more things coming out that have come out from Free RPG Day. Just make note, maybe next year when they do Free RPG Day again, just kind of make note of it. Visit your local or make contact your friendly local gaming store and see what they have, because you never know what you miss out on. And one of these things is like Cyberpunk Red. You know what? I feel like what else is there? Maybe there may be Injustice in the world today, but I feel like with the powers of expansion, Javion, we can see things through.
Yeah, this is really cool. We have some more details on the DC deck building game standalone expansion for Injustice: Gods Among Us. So fans of the DC deck building game franchise might have already known about this because it was announced back in 2021, but Injustice has its own standalone set coming for the DC deck building game. And it's based off of the video games and the comic books for Injustice. I'm not going to give you a whole overview of all the many comics that have come out for Injustice. There's already 2 video games on it, but I will give you just a quick recap on some of the inciting incidents. Basically, Superman gets a call that the Joker has just kidnapped Lois Lane, but then when he shows up, he finds Doomsday. Well, then he punches Doomsday into outer space and finds out that was actually Lois Lane, and he was just given some of Scarecrow's fear gas to make him think that it was actually Doomsday, so he just killed Lois Lane. It's terrifying. Well, that turns Superman evil, and so now it's half of the Justice League, half of the DC characters, good and evil, get mixed together, fighting against one another. It's Batman versus Superman. It's all of the characters from tons and tons of different DC universes coming together, which makes this a really exciting expansion for the DC deck building game. So some of the new details we have are that we are getting different versions than what we already have of classic characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, The Flash, and others. Green Lantern and Billy Batson are heavily featured in the comics and the video game, so I'm hoping to see them a lot as well. Solomon Grundy makes an appearance. Swamp Creature or Swamp Man. I don't remember which one it is, but that one is a very intense character as well. Lots of magic. Lots of wacky things can go on with this expansion. The game box includes 207 standard cards, 9 oversized character cards, and 4 oversized health track cards. Tons and tons of components. I mean, we've got more arena cards, more KO tokens. You're getting exact numbers on what you're actually getting to add to your box, so you can already get your inserts ready to add in the new promos. As well as the first printing of this game is coming with an oversized Sinestro promo character card and a promo super move card. This is probably because Superman gets one of the yellow Green Lantern rings, or yellow lantern rings, which is powered by fear, which is terrifying. Just think of the most overpowered character in DC Comics with a fear ring and causing fear across the earth just so he can get what he wants, which is eradicating evil on a mass scale. So it's you can decide for yourself whether or not that's really evil. Anyway, it's for 2 to 4 players, ages 15 and up, and plays in about 60 minutes, and will retail for about $44.99. It's set to come out in Q1 of 2023, so we don't have to wait too long. And if you want to take a look at some of the gallery images in the ICV2 article that has collected this information for us. Big shout out to Jeffrey Dom Sanchez once again. Thank you so much. If you want to check out some of the preview images of the cards that are going to be coming out, I highly recommend it, especially if you're as big of an Injustice fan as I am. And if you were wondering, my favorite character to play in the Injustice games, it's a toss-up between Catwoman and Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy.
Beat you for one side of the screen to the next.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. I think we
Oh.
need to have ourselves an exhibition match.
Green Arrow all day.
Oh, really? Wow.
Green
Okay. So
Arrow.
we're just gonna be flinging arrows across the map, and I'm supposed to just respect you for that? Okay. Well, at least you're not playing Superman.
Okay,
Why
Wonder
is there
Woman.
no love for Poison Ivy in this talk?
Is Poison Ivy in the second one? Maybe.
Yeah, it's Poison Ivy is in the
I think
second one.
she. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I haven't actually played a lot of the second one, so maybe you would stomp me in that one.
Okay.
Oh, Peter, what did you have to say? Sorry.
Isn't Wonder Woman in the same?
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman's
Yeah,
crazy. She's super good.
Yeah, but she's trash in the game, and I don't mind saying it.
Oh,
Come at me, Injustice fan.
Well, don't worry, Noir. If you read the comics, Wonder Woman is super hardcore in the comics.
Absolutely,
She is nuts. So yeah. I'm sure the deck building game version of her will do her much more justice than the Injustice.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Justice,
Yeah.
Injustice.
Yeah.
That was so good. But yeah, no, speaking of fandoms, there might be a name that sounds familiar to some folks, especially those who like watching or like reading a lot of epic fantasies. Brandon Sanderson, the creator, of course, the Stormlight Archive, is announced that basically, I don't know if we covered this on TableTakes, but they're like, hey, we got these Stormlight figurines that we're going to be printing. Not telling you what we're printing it for, but we got these Stormlight figurines. Don't know what we're hinting. And then basically it was revealed, of course, his sources from Chase Carter of Dice Breakers, that the Stormlight Archive figurines that were made by the Brotherwise Games is going to be for a tabletop RPG that's tentatively scheduled to release in 2024. Of course, if you're a fan of the Stormlight Archive, there's already been 5 books released. I believe that the section of how many, how the series is that they're separated in 2 chunks of 5. Of course, Stormlight is a epic fantasy RPG about broken people helping to save the world. It's got a lot. I've only gone through about 4 of those books. And they're big. They're like books that you could heftily use as an improvised weapon. And they're hefty books if you ever seen them. And there is a lot of darkness, and the theme is, yes, a lot of the main characters of the book series are these broken people who have either gone through some trauma and lost their faith of humanity in some sort of way, and there's a war, but also a greater evil behind that war, and maybe a lot of miscommunication happening because of that war, and it's just people trying to survive in an inhospitable world. So if that sounds exciting you, but yes, why that is coinciding is that 2024 is scheduled to be the last drop of that book series. So unlike other writers that shall be not named for making prequels instead of finishing their book series,
I'll say it. George R. Martin, finish the Song of Ice and Fire, you nerd.
But yes, because we have the TV adaptation that somehow destroyed the fandom some ways, but I don't know if that's going to be I'm sorry, I'm just letting real feelings leak out all of a sudden, so don't mind me. But yes, the release date for the game is 2024, and probably intended to seek with the intended release date of fall 2024 of the 5th and final book of the first arc of the Stormlight series. So, and yeah, Brandon Sanderson, of course, has also, if you heard in the past, made a Kickstarter saying we need Kickstarters for books. Not going to tell you what books, but you're going to give me money because I'm a good writer. Noir, you were the one who told us about that news.
I mean, like, that's how you know an author has goodwill, when they can just be like, if you want me to put pen to paper again, give me money. I'm not gonna tell you a thing about. I could write a McDonald's menu, and like we would still pay for it. He's a really good, he's a really good author, and he's got a lot of videos that help with just general world building. And even if you aren't interested at all in the worlds that he's written, it's still very helpful from a GM perspective of making sure that the magic in your world makes sense, the magical items in your world make sense, like all that kind of stuff. So highly recommend just everything Sanderson. Good times. I wish I could recommend Martin, but I've been hurt too many times. I've been hurt too many times, Martin. I just want the end. I want the true end. Season 8 was abhorrent. You made me live through that.
I mean, I get the season, but how they did the episode, sorry, we won't go on that. Maybe if you requested either here on Twitch or on YouTube, wanting us to see a rant about Game of Thrones and all of our theories and why we hate the
you turned my favorite doctor into a Targaryen. I don't know how to feel.
Yes. Just let us know in the comments down below, please. We will nerd out all over you, especially because yes, the new series of the prequels, so many prequels, sorry, but besides that, I have some maybe exciting news for those folks who happen to like this little board game. Maybe not a lot of people heard about it. Gloomhaven. Does it ring a name to anybody here in this chat? Well, Gloomhaven, the digital version or adaptation of Gloomhaven is free on the Epic Game Store this week. Basically, if you're not familiar with the big gigantic gahingus of Gloomhaven that has like a million, oops. Sorry. I just realized that hold on. Did I? Oh, yes.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. I was reading over some things, but I'm just going to do this little blurb really quick. It's a $35 game that's normally, what is it? That's a $35 game, but it's free on Epic this week. So if you like the big box, the Kickstarter, like tyrannic thing that is Gloomhaven, go ahead and check it out. But I also, you know what? I'm sorry. I had like zero things going on in my head. It just like went over me. I feel like I need to get a restart. Maybe somebody who has like a system to maybe zero out.
Yeah, you need a system for that. In fact,
system,
you need a whole session for that.
Oh, a session. Thank you.
Session with a system for having. In fact, let's call it session 0. Session 0. Okay, so Gabe Hicks is presenting a new product called Session 0, the Session 0 system. This was broken to us by Alex Meehan at Dice Breaker. So this is like, okay, so a Session 0, if you are not in the know, a lot of us have been doing this for years anyway. We started a new campaign, like a D&D campaign or Burning Wheel campaign, what have you. The first time you get together, it's like creating the characters together, and that might even take an entire session. So that started be calling Session 0. When you get together, let's create our characters together. Let's talk about the characters, figure out what their backgrounds are, why are they adventuring, all this sort of stuff like that. So I was very excited to see that Gabe Hicks has stepped up to the plate and is producing a product around this idea, because it's such a good idea for role playing that it really deserves to have a product explaining it. So this product is going to be released by Dimension 20. It's going to have all sorts of formalizing all sorts of guidelines for how you might do this in your own campaign, for like how to create character backstories, how to tie the backstories together, how to have discussions about, or just even a reminder to have a discussion about what sort of tone do you want the campaign to have, what sort of themes do you want to have, what sort of mood do you want to have, and also safety discussions, very important, like what are themes that people don't want to have in their game, like, I don't want to have this theme, nothing having to do with chocolate, because I'm like super addicted to chocolate, and if it comes up I'm going to be really upset, right? So or maybe not to make light of a very important thing, but I didn't want to violate any safety rules by talking about it bad, anyway. So there you go. So this is a great product. I think it's coming out sometime. The date has not been announced, but I think it's exciting that it's coming. Suggest to watch for it. Session 0 system.
Very, very cool. I do suggest for people who haven't checked out Dimension 20 yet, definitely do so. There is a variety of cast members, a variety of games, and quality actors and everything, and they just like it's really, really good stuff that they do. And so if you guys haven't checked it out, especially if you're like curious about, oh, why do you think this person, why do you think they are such an expert at this? If you just watch the Dimension 20, especially when they GM or a DM, you can see what kind of like basically how well the players work together because of these kind of sessions and everything like that. So very highly recommend it. Now, you know what? I feel like we need to get a few like I really feel like 2022 had a lot of games that we needed to keep our eye out and look for, but like through the mess of it, of course, maybe as Halloween is just around the corner, and then of course Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving, what do we have? Christmas. So what could we look forward to, especially if you have like maybe like friends and family around the world? Peter, do you know of any games or anything that you could point to us that might point out games that actually really made note of?
Yeah. Personally, I have no idea. Like I have
No.
no ideas for games myself, but I do know where you can find a list. There is the tabletop gaming, not like in a generic tabletop gaming, but there is a website called tabletopgaming.co.uk. So it's a UK based website and club and convention, and they also have an awards program. The awards program is driven by voting from within the community. Anybody can log in and vote on what you think your favorite games were. Now, these are the 2022 awards. I believe these are for awards for products that came out in 2021. So anyway, they've announced the winners for 2022, and it's pretty cool. They got a long list of them. I'll talk about a couple of them, and then I'm hoping each of you, my other hosts, will cover a couple of them. So the best war game, according to Tabletop Gaming Awards, was Oathmark by Osprey Publishing. This is created by Joseph McCullough. He's the designer of Frostgrave. It is a mass battle fantasy war game, which, by the way, sounds really cool. I'm actually very interested in getting this. It puts you in command of the fantasy army you've always wanted, a company of stalwart dwarves or a mixed force of proud elves, noble humans, and wild goblins standing shoulder to shoulder in the battle line. Fight through an integrated campaign system and develop your realms from battle to battle, adding new territories, recruiting new troop types, and growing to eclipse your rivals. Or lose what you fought so hard to gain and fall as so many would-be emperors before you. I mean, this actually sounds like Dungeons and Dragons when it was first invented back in the 70s, like the way, the stories of the old grognards, how, yeah, they were playing wargaming, and then they added fantasy elements, and then Dave Arneson had the idea of somebody going down into the sewer system beneath a castle, and that became Dungeons and Dragons. So I don't know, this seems very cool and also oddly retro. Another game I want to brag about as a winner, because we have an affiliation with this particular game, Best Party Game, according to Tabletop Game Awards, Blood on the Clock Tower, yes, by the Pandemonium Institute. Okay, so we're also excited about this. In fact, this is the real reason we're covering these awards, is because, somebody that we really know and love on one of our shows won an award. But it wasn't just the show, Blood on the Clock Tower. There is a Blood on the Clock Tower show on Gen Con TV. It's Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So you can go and watch this award-winning show. Basically, imagine like Werewolf or Mafia. We've all played that, like times 100. Like there are like thousands of different characters that exist in the universe of this game. They all have their own special abilities, and it's it's just like can go up to like 20 players. You can play it online. No two games are the same because of all the different combinations of characters and abilities that you can have. And but it goes back to the idea of a social deduction game. It's good versus evil in some town somewhere, not Indianapolis, not Seattle, somewhere else. Yeah. So anyway, but how about you, Javion? Do you have a couple
Well, I just want to add to what you were saying real fast, because I did mention I got to play Blood on the Clock Tower last weekend. I had a ton of fun, but one of the best parts about it is that the game master, instead of just being a narrator, is actually helping guide the game, answering questions for people, but also making decisions about, or suggestions to people so that each side feels balanced rather than, I don't know, 6 out of 9 people figuring out that they're not bad guys right at the start and only narrowing it down to 3 people so that me and one other person have to fend for ourselves. Anyway, I'm not bitter. Best indie game winner is Regicide by Badger from Mars. If you've never heard of this game, there was a very successful Kickstarter recently. Is a game that is cooperative and fantasy based. It's played with a deck of playing cards for 1 to 4 players. And the designs on them are very unique. They're illustrated by Sketch Goblin. You'll notice that they don't have many features on their faces, and they have this sort of minimalistic design to them that's really cool. And the way that you play the game is basically you're playing actual like deck of playing cards. Like if you just pick up like a deck from like Bicycle or whatever you have lying around your house, you can play this game. Every one of the faces has different special powers that activate when you play them, and then the number or face on the card deals damage. And if you've dealt enough damage with your other party members, you can defeat the enemy. Otherwise, you have to discard cards, and if you run out of cards, then you lose. So it's a very simplistic kind of game that actually has a lot of fun strategy to it. And that's why it won Best Indie Game. Also, the winner of Best International Game is Cora Quest, which has a very cute story to it. So Cora Quest is another co-op dungeon crawling game for 1 to 4 players, plays in about 60 minutes. And it was also a Kickstarter hit, but it was actually designed by a man named Dan Hughes and his 8-year-old daughter, Cora. So this was sort of a family design that turned into a big hit. It's a very cross-generational experience. So it's great for not just ages 6 to 10 or 6 to 14 or 18 like we usually see, but it's great for all ages. You find treasure, avoid traps, fight monsters, and sometimes you rescue a gnome called Kevin. What could be better? I think the only way this game could get better is if you could kill a god king named Marcus. Well, I think those are the only ones that I wanted to talk about. But Noir, what about you?
I hope y'all are ready because I got the best RPG in the game. Oh, it's Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Real hype for it. I I don't know what that was. I love Pathfinder so much, and I'm starting to see a lot of people hopping over to it, taking a look at it. One of the things that I have been vehement about is that it's not nearly as crunchy as people think it is. If you can play Magic the Gathering, you can play Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and people are giving it that chance and finding that there are just tons of character creation options and tons of different classes for you to hop into. It does take some getting used to if you're hopping over from 5th edition, but it truly did win its place as the best RPG of 2022. I'm cutting this like a WWE promo, but I love it.
I think that, oh my God, no, that is the best comment in the history of Table Takes. It's Pathfinder's not that hard. If you can play Magic the Gathering, you can
Listen,
play
you
Pathfinder.
can.
I mean,
Yeah,
sure.
Pathfinder uses a lot of tags for a lot of things. So if you're able to play like Magic the Gathering, because that's all Magic is, it's just like you got to fly, you got a tag for flying, land walk, haste, banding. Oh my God, I said banding.
Wow, that's a callback. Taking me back. Take me back to the Beneless Hero. Yes.
Yeah, trample and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
If you can memorize all that, then it's literally the same thing for Pathfinder Second Edition.
It's just as easy as all that. Yeah.
Easy.
Repetition is the mother of all teaching. And for my second award,
Yes.
I am extraordinarily hype about this one. It's the most. Hold on. I had it here, then I lost it. Oh, here it is. The most novel component in a game.
Oh.
Return to Dark Tower. Took it, baby. That's right. The tower in this bad boy is mean. It wants to hurt your feelings. It wants to kill you and your friends. It's controlled by an app, so you have no one to be mad at except the creators of this amazing game. I was lucky enough to get to demo it at 2020's Gen Con. I've played it a bunch since then, and this thing really is the tower in this game really is one of my favorite BBEGs I've ever faced in anything, because it will taunt you, it will make fun of you. It's got a speaker system inside, so it laughs at you when you fail. It growls at you when you think things are safe, and then it spits skulls at you and ruins your day. So if you have the chance to play this, do it. And they just came out with an expansion pack as well. I think that's still on Kickstarter. If you have the chance to pre-order that to add some more dynamics to your game, go ahead and do it. It just makes this tower even meaner. So those are my two favorites: Pathfinder Second Edition and Return to Dark Tower. Tons of hours of fun in there.
Thank you, Noir. How about you, Bonsai? What are your two favorite awards that came out?
All right. This wouldn't be Gen Con TableTakes if we didn't at least talk about what they awarded as the best board game of 2022. I happened to actually pick this up at Gen Con. It's called Ark Nova. So if you guys haven't played it, especially if you're a fan of Terraforming Mars, think of that except with zoo animals. And you're trying to make the best zoo possible. It actually looks a lot more intimidating than it actually is when you first open up the box. But it actually, the rules are very simple. It's very replayable because there's different maps that you can use once you understand and can get yourself what is it called? Once you understand the game, and you can switch to different maps that are harder. And so it kind of gives newer players can play on the basic map versus more advanced players can play on a harder map. So it balances out the game for anybody, so every level can play. I've invited multiple friends over just to play this game with them, and also as soon as they have some special mats and stuff that you can get and gimme parts and stuff like that, I am definitely going to buy those upgrades for this game. That's how much I like it. So if you haven't played it yet, Ark Nova. And this, I believe, is by Capstone Games. It's such a pretty game, too. And then you also learn random facts about animals. Very random facts and where they come from. So I highly suggest those games. And as you can see, all of these games we're very, very passionate about. You can see why a lot of these were fan chosen as, as what people want, especially for, I believe this award comes from a UK-based tabletop audience, right?
That's
so
right.
This is what
I have no idea. I have no idea what their overall market is in terms of where their customers are, but it's based in the UK.
But yes. So if you are interested, definitely put those on a list of maybe games you want to check out over time. But you know what that means? That means with all of us geeking out about that, I feel like we need to get into the bundles with the bundle boss. Javion, tell us what it's hot. Come on.
You got it. Hi, everyone. I'm your bundle boss today. I hope you're strapped in because we are revving the engines on Apocalypse. It's Apocalypse Engine 5. You get the Between, Hearts of Wulin, Voidheart, and more in this bundle, the fifth offer of tabletop role-playing games powered by the Apocalypse. That is based on Vincent and Magui Baker's landmark indie RPG Apocalypse World. Since the bundle holding offer back in May 2020, new Powered by the Apocalypse games have hit the hobby with great success. For just $10, you get all 5 complete games in the starter collection as DRM-free ebooks. Last Fleet, which is where you shepherd a ragtag group of human survivors across a deep space pursued by an implacable enemy. Pig Smoke, not what you think, an RPG of Academia. It's a behind-the-scenes rivalry at a prestigious wizarding school. Bet you didn't see that coming. I think it has something maybe to do with Hogwarts, like Pig Smoke. Is there a connection there? Maybe not. Probably not. I'm probably just crazy. 3 Ashcan preview editions of forthcoming Magpie Games RPGs. We've got Crossroads Carnival One Night Only Edition, Passing, and Rapscallion. And that's not all. If you pay more than the threshold price of $30.16, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection, which gives you 5 more games and supplements worth an additional $67.50. Oh, what a deal. It's more than 50% off. You get The Between from Gauntlet Publishing. You get the Between Season 2 expansion as well. You get Hearts of Wulin, a fantastic wuxia martial arts action and melodrama in ancient China, as well as Void Heart Symphony, desperate people with occult powers fighting tyrants in an otherworldly nightmare castle by Minerva McJonda. And last but not least, you also get Bite Marks, delicate and often bloody family dynamics among a pack of werewolves. What could be more wholesome? Keep on fighting the apocalypse and take advantage of this bundle, because 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this Apocalypse Engine offers pandemic-related charity. We all know and love them. It's Direct Relief. Direct Relief sends protective gear and critical care medications to health workers with emergency deliveries to medical facilities all across the United States and Canada, and to regional response agencies around the world. You've got 17 days left on this bundle. Don't miss out on the deal of a lifetime.
Ooh, thank you, Javion. We need that you're getting better and better at selling these bundle bosses, Javion. Geez.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But now we are, of course, coming in at this quarter. We are now doing the funders court here on TableTakes. Remember, we're calling the crowdfunders because we scouse the internet for these prime candidates coming from not only Kickstarter, we also come from Crowdfunder, all those good game found sites that you can want. And of course, my first contender that is coming in, I am presenting Pueblo. If you are familiar with that word, is the Spanish term for people like basically a town just a town, little town, Pueblo. It has 16 days left. It's a 2 to 4 player game based off of various different Native American tribes around specifically around the regions of Arizona and New Mexico. It is a tower building game where players are builders commissioned by the chieftain to build these multi-tiered housing structures that are very noticeable in those specific tribes that are carved into the mountains and such. But for this, the chieftain specially requests that these builders build these structures without putting themselves too forward. These are, as a player, you get assigned a color, a number set of your specific color blocks with a bunch of neutral color blocks, and you are each taking a turn to build up this structure within a given square. And as you place down, the chieftain themselves are moved around the board, and where they stop from, you get to place it either 2 to 4 spaces, between 2 or 4 spaces. Where they stop is where they can see, and they basically penalize those colors that they see. So if you're like, all right, the chieftain's at this corner and it can see 3 blue squares and maybe 1 yellow square, that's the chieftain saying, this builder is trying to show themselves off too much. So you get penalty points for that. The name of the game is to build higher structures without allowing the chieftain to see who builds them. And of course, at the end, the person with the fewest amount of penalty points wins. I just really like it. It's a very cool 3D puzzler type of game. Easy for people to understand, and I do like the various different cultural influences that they have based off of. So if you're interested in this game can be found on Game Found. And again, that is Pueblo, and it ends in 16 days. Javion, what do you got for us?
All right, so my Kickstarter is all about dice. This one comes to us from a company that you might recognize with a game franchise. You might also recognize it's Sagrada Artisans. For the first time, we're getting our legacy game of dice drafting and stained glass window coloring. So,
oh my God, legacy game, Javion? Did you say legacy game?
That's right. Peter's excited. Sagrada, if you have played it, you already know it is all about placing dice into stained glass window slots in order to make a beautiful art design. But it's kind of like Sudoku in that you can't put certain colors next to each other, two of the same colors next to each other, or two of the same numbers next to each other. So you have to be very careful about which dice you decide to take and which dice you leave around for other people to take as well, with little bonuses here and there. Well, this is the legacy version of it. In Sagrada Artisans, you're actually competing as rival families. You're trying to construct the cathedral's windows over a campaign spanning generations. That's why it's a legacy game, because once you've played it all the way through, you can't play it again anymore after that. It is completely done. You are writing on things, you're tearing things up, you're placing stickers on things, you're learning things that you can't erase from your mind anymore. Each new window presents new discoveries and challenges. It's a standalone legacy campaign game, and you play through a campaign of over 10 unique scenarios and beyond, with a window pattern booster pack if you decide to go up that high. And might I just say, it has been a long time since I have seen a Kickstarter with this many add-ons. I mean, you've got extra dice, you've got journals, you've got a reset pack so you can play the legacy game a second time, colored pencils, gold star stickers. If you decide to pay extra, yes, it becomes a game that you can play again. Congratulations. Organizer boxes, booster packs for window patterns. I mean, it's almost endless. You can spend hundreds of dollars on this game and still get plenty of content left to go. All right, well, that's Sagrada Artisans. The Kickstarter ends in only 7 days. So if you want to jump on like I did, make sure you are budgeting correctly, because it's very easy to spend too much money on this. Speaking of spending too much money, my last Kickstarter is called The Kraken, and this is another very unique game in which you explore the world and battle with monsters in an A4 board game. So you might be wondering, what is an A4 board game? Well, there's 4 steps to an A4 board game. Basically, what you're doing is you're trying to use the story to create a map as you play the game. So you've got a preset sheet, and you're rolling dice to see how many steps you go in any direction. You're rolling the dice to determine what happens on the map, while also making strategic decisions in order to learn about the world and win the game. It's very exciting. It's only got 6 days left to go. Check it out if you like world-spanning ship travel across long, vast treks around the seas. And that's the end of my Kickstarter.
Wow. Wow. Well, if it please the court, I would like to present a nomination. What do you say, Judge?
Fonza, you're muted.
Oh, no hosts are here. Totally not muted. I'd say, yeah, if you got something interesting, maybe unique,
Yes.
maybe something with a W.
It's a little out there. It's a little weird. It's called Weird. The Weird. So this is by Monty Cook Games. So, okay, so I know you just sat up and paid attention when I dropped that name. Yes, this is a new crowdfunding campaign from Monty Cook called The Weird. It is on BackerKit. Has 14 days to go. They've already raised $316,000. So it's coming along really well. I mean, I think that's so far just a modest Kickstarter for Monty Cook, but hey, I'm sure he's not complaining. This is not a new role-playing game. It is a supplement for any existing RPG system. And so basically, it says like, how do you make another room full of orcs? Another space station full of aliens, or another dark cult really special? How do you make every game session truly new and memorable? A moment of real discovery and imagination. You make it weird. So you have an oracle. What if the oracle is standing on a floating fragment of the moon? You have a castle. What if the castle is located at the bottom of a mug of ale? You have a monster. What if the monster feeds on the ghosts of children? Check safety rules first. Royalty. What if roses grow where the tears of the queen have fallen? What if a sword? What if the wounds that a sword makes scream? Yes, the weird is full of thousands of suggestions for ideas you can inject into your adventures. Thank you, Monty. I really appreciate it. I contributed, not that I would ever need any help, of course, for something like that. But I'm getting it for a friend. Yeah. So I think this is a fantastic idea.
Well done.
Yeah, no, thank you for that awesome Kickstarter. Also, yeah, it's cool. We help out friends as well in here, but at least we're like, hey, by the way, this is our friend that's presenting it. So it's good. We're honest here on TableTakes, just in case you are wondering. But I feel like you know what? All of those presentations were really, really great. So let's give everybody a round of applause except for Noir, because Noir didn't do anything. How dare you?
Listen, there's no accessories available this time. You know I'm the accessories guy.
I know. We'll just have to. So, hey, this is Noir asking all of you designers out there, make more accessories, especially leather.
More books that are also other things. I want books that are also DM screens. I want books that are also dice trays. That's my favorite thing.
There you go. You want to sell it to Noir, make it books and leather. That's the two selling points.
Oh, wow.
But yes, that will be it for TableTakes. But wait, hold on. TableTakes or Gen Con TV is more than just TableTakes here. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick rundown of everything, especially what's going on today on Friday. Of course, you want to stick around because coming up right after this at 3:30 p.m. By the way, these are all Pacific Standard Times because we are on the West Coast over here. We're going to be TableTakes game nights. You're going to be joined again by Peter, Noir, myself, and leading this is going to be the great, the powerful, the mischievous Javion as we play Dungeon Crawl Classics. And we may be able to show people dice on computers that are rolling and maps. Ooh, excitement.
Yeah, and Javion told us specifically that nothing bad will happen to our characters, so you should form an emotional bond with them as soon as you
choose your favorite, form that emotional bond. They're gonna.
I've been working on backstories and naming all my characters.
I've already commissioned fan art. So.
This is gonna be great. You're gonna have so much fun, you guys.
It's going to be great. And then, of course, right after that at 5 p.m., join us for Joyful Gaming around Sarah's table. Sarah Moore is going to be playing Wickedness. Ooh, very nice. With that name, it's going to be quality, happiness, sunshine, and rainbows.
Joyful Gaming.
Yeah, joyful. Very joyful gaming with a game title called Wickedness. Definitely. The best all around. And of course, let's go ahead and tell you what's happening this week on Gen Con TV. Well, starting off with Sunday. We got 4 p.m. with hello.
We skipped Sunday.
Sunday.
Sorry.
Sunday. Yep. I'm sorry. I obviously am skipping sentences today. My brain. Okay, I blame the baby. I have pregnancy.
You're thinking for two.
I'm thinking for two, and the signals are getting mixed up. Dress to Quest is coming, of course, on Sunday at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Dress to Quest continues this Sunday. Of course, when you go like, yes, Dress to Quest Oh yes, you have to do the arm movements and everything. It's a very highly competitive questing game where everyone's like, no, we want to use that leather stud, not chainmail, and we judge everything at the end. Yes, totally what it is about, and I'm not making anything up. But as again, sorry. So that's happening on Sunday. Now let me go ahead and now let's go ahead and go over what's happening this week one more time. Mondays, 4 p.m., board games with the brothers Murph. Two brothers, they play board games together. Nothing can go wrong with family rivalry. Tuesdays, of course, Out of Character with Mark Tassin. If you guys don't know, very cool, awesome human being, and you should watch what they have to say, especially because, they get down and dirty and out of character, you may say. Wednesdays, of course, we have at 6 p.m. I don't know, this little series called Actoroki. Maybe somebody may be involved in this. I don't know, Peter, do you know?
Yes. This next week is the supercut of Series 3. So we just finished Series 3. If you think, wow, it's over already, well, this next episode is a supercut where we show all the episodes back to back in one 3-hour block. So
Woo!
Yeah, you can binge the whole series.
Any plans for series 4?
We will have a series 4, but it's not going to start till next year. But we have some other surprises in store between now and then. We're going to do some one-offs, and we have I don't know. I hear there are some barbarians that are in town in a couple of weeks. I wonder what they might be up to.
Exciting.
So if you guys want to hear more about that, remember to check us out on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Of course, Thursday at 10 a.m., a little game we might have been talking about repeatedly over and over again. Blood on the Clock Tower, just a little game, nothing to worry about. Maybe if you want to see a lot of intrigue and lots of friendship being built in times of need and trouble, go ahead and check out Blood on the Clock Tower, followed right after at 4 p.m., rolled with Rem Alternus. And of course, right after then, on Fridays, you get us again on our beautiful faces, starting at 2 p.m., TableTakes, followed right after TableTakes Game Night. And after that, it's the Kids Keep on Coming with Sarah's Table as well. I want to thank all of you, Peter, Noir, Javion, for hanging out, sharing your wonderful, beautiful smiles. Also, Marcus in the background. Oh, hell, God, Marcus in the background. Also, thank you for you, the viewers, and also people who are watching the VODs either here on Twitch or on YouTube. Thank you for giving us a venue to geek out about. Of course, like I said, if you missed any of our programming, there are the VODs here on Twitch. And also, if you wait 24 hours later, it will be on YouTube as well. And don't forget to follow Gen Con TV here for more of the best 4 days of gaming all year round. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, friends. Bye.